If you're looking to improve and drop shots quickly at golf, there is an optimal order in the areas you should be focusing your time when practicing. Today, I'm going to share that with you. Let's have a look at the first one. Before we look at the first one though, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. 50% of you watching the videos aren't, so just click that button down below. Let's get stuck into the video. So the first thing that we need to be practicing to optimize lowering our scores quickly is here in the bunkers. And just leave me a comment down below. How much time in percentage is actually spent practicing here in the bunkers? I'd be staggered if anyone puts 10% of their practice time in on bunkers. Generally doesn't happen. The only time we practice them is when we actually get one in the course, which ain't really going to work for us. But a couple of things that we need to do. Number one, like I say, is actually dedicate a little bit of practice time to them. But number two, technically when we're doing this, a lot of people, because of the lips, we know that we try and help it up. But what we also do is get too steep as we're going in. As we hit the golf ball that we're actually not trying to hit in these bunkers, we're actually trying to take a little cloud, a little pocket of sand and let that force it forwards. We try and dig too much into the sand. So what that will mean is that we're almost going down and spearing the club head into the ground, and it won't come back up out of the ground. It'll just bury in, it'll suck up all the speed that you have, and then there's no momentum lifting that golf ball out. So what I want you to do when you're in your bunkers, A, grip down the club a little bit more. And then from there, what I would say is that if we're going to try and hit these, imagine a £5 note around the golf ball. If you put the ball on top of the note, we're going to try and take that amount of sand. But just imagine you're only trying to take about an inch underneath, and depending on what the bunkers are like this one, quite heavy, thick sand, or if there's no sand, that'll obviously differ as you're going through. And to start off with, don't even open the face up too much. We're going to aim pretty square, as we see here. We're not going to get too open and try and get too much across it, because again, that's going to get us too steep. We're going to aim pretty square. We're going to make sure that that sternum's in front of the golf ball. And then from there, once we've gripped down, I want you to try and feel that all your bunker swings get to about shoulder height. And then depending on the distance you go, will depend on the speed that you will swing it. For me, I'm only trying to splash this halfway, so it won't be my quickest one. But all I want to try and do each time is just try and imagine I'm taking that small little brush of a £5 note that's about an inch deep. If we can do that, we'll start to get out more regularly, and then we won't be costing ourselves shots by duffing it into the face, thinning it in the face, thinning it over the green. Get it out, take your 2 putts, and from there, bunkers will get better. So in, sternum in front of the golf ball, gripping down a little bit more. I'm going to swing to shoulder height and take my inch of sand at £5. Pops out, and away we go. So first things first, get some time in the bunker, and then all about that shoulder length swing and trying to take the £5 inch deep divot each time. So the next thing in this order that you need to start working on to improve quickly, iron play. Now, we all know that we shouldn't be aiming at flags, and we all know, hopefully, that we hit it short. Generally 83% of golfers actually come up short according to ShotScope when approaching the greens. And I think A, there's 2 reasons for that. Poor club selection on a hole like here at Warrington, the 8th, that flag is 138 yards. The front is 128 yards, but actually that front yardage is playing nearly what the flag is. The flag is in the middle of the green, but because of the elevation, that's going to add more distance onto it. So that's one thing we don't take into account. We don't take wind in as well. Today it's slightly into off the right. We don't take into account the lie too much. These are things that you have to start doing. So as you learn to play golf, one of the things that you have to learn to do is interpret the conditions, lie, elevation, wind conditions, things like that. Is it cold? Is it warm? How are you feeling today? But secondly, one of the other things that we maybe do is overestimate how actually well we strike the irons. A lot of people, when hitting irons, are catching them thin or they're catching them fat. And one of the main reasons is due to a technical error in that as we come to hit the golf ball, when we come to approach it, because we know that a good iron shot gets high up in the air, it gets some good distance, we tend to move our body weight back behind the golf ball and also lose the angles that we need to create a good solid iron strike. If we saw a lot of amateurs impact, it would look something like this, where the hands are a little bit behind the golf ball, the weight almost looks behind the golf ball also. If we saw a professional, we would see the opposite. We would see that the sternum is covering or in front of the golf ball, and we would see that the grip is leading the club head as we go through here. This is going to get that compression that we all want so badly. So I would suggest getting a lesson with a PGA Pro, going to have a look at your golf swing and find out what it is you're doing wrong. But if you're really struggling with striking, a drill that I like to do with a lot of my students is what I call the cut-off drill. What I want you to try and do is make some swings with an iron where we cut the follow-through off, and your aim throughout this is to feel that you hold the club grip in front of the club head here. It'll look something like this when you finish it. Imagine hitting that little punch shot. When we're doing that, we're aiming to hit it low so we wouldn't get into a position like this. What that will do is improve your strike and start to see that you actually get closer to the desired distance you want. If you think you hit your 7-iron 150, yet you're hitting it 130, this might jump it up to 140. So try hitting some shots with that little cut-off feeling as we go through. Imagine you're going to hit it low, and from there we should see more greens hit. And we can see there a great strike, and that divot was ball then turf. It wasn't turf then ball. So try that and see if you can start to improve your irons. Let's take a look at the next thing you need to work on. And the next area of improvement that we need to focus on is your driver. Now, that might come as a little bit of a shock. A lot of people would say that this is the #1 area you need to improve. And when you especially go to lessons, it's always, can we do the driver today, please, coach? Now, yes, there is importance on it, but the next two issues are going to be far more important. But a couple of things that you need to do when working with driver. #1, understand your shot shape. #2, get a little bit of technical sort of framework that you know that you can work towards. The majority of people watching the videos are slicers, so you're probably going to need to sort your club face out, get it releasing a little bit more, and you're also going to need to sort out where the path is traveling from. But also, when you're on a hole like this here, the 7th at Warrington, I think a lot of people pull driver just because it's a par 4. But down in the distance, there's 2 bunkers that are right slap bang in where the average golfer is going to be hitting their driver. They start at 200 and they go out to about 240. And they're on the right hand side, so they're perfect for that right-handed golfer to slice it into. Now, a lot of people stand in the middle of the tee box, aim straight, slice it in and go, ugh, what's happened? But all we need to start doing just to improve, like I say, firstly, get some technical framework. Go and have a lesson with a PGA professional who will diagnose exactly what your tendencies are, and then you can start to alter them. I would imagine it's going to be face and path work and a little bit of angle of attack as well. And guess what? The big secret is it's generally always to do with your setup, so just focus on the basics there. But then when we're coming onto a hole like this one, if we want to hit this shot here, what we may want to do is actually say, well, the fairway might not be the best place to play from. I might want to go actually a little bit left here and allow for my slice. Yes, if I pull it, I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble. But if I do get my slice, I might just creep onto the fairway. So when coming on here, ask yourself every time, is it a driver firstly? And if it is, and you know your shot shape, start to actually play for it. Don't think to yourself, I need to try and draw this driver, aim down the right and slice it even further. Let's start to aim properly for the shot we hit, and then from there we should start to see more improvement from our drivers. That one would do for me. My little fade, just working down the left. And there we go. Start working on your driver, but do it by knowing your tendencies. The penultimate thing that we need to be working on to make sure that we're improving quickly and in the right order is here, the short game. Shots like these are where you can really make a few bad tee shots, a few bad iron shots, actually not look that bad. If you up and down this one and you've sliced it in the trees, punched out to here, it's still a 4. Your playing partner might have hit it 300 yards, wedged it into 10 foot, missed it, tapped in, still both 4s. But common mistakes are that shots like these where there's no real obstacles in front, instead of playing a little shot like this where we simply just bump it and run it and get it running along the ground like this one, we see the lob wedge being used far too often, and a lot of duffs and thins happen from there. So top tip here would be, when you can, when you're chipping around the greens, try and get it running as quickly as possible. The more loft you have in hand, the less room for error you have. And also putting. If you can start to hole out a little better from 3 to 6 foot, the stats show the difference between a 0 handicapper and a 20 handicapper is quite staggering. If you could hole a few more of those by practicing this, maybe spending 15 minutes a week on it, you're gonna start lowering your scores. So spend a little bit of time around the chipping green, around the putting green, get sharp around these, and people actually forget what you do off the tee and coming into the greens. They'll just talk about how you are like savvy when you're around the greens. And the number one way to optimize your improvement and drop shots quicker doesn't even require these. What it requires is using this. Now, we all can't hit it like Scotty Scheffler or Bryson DeChambeau, Nelly Korda, but what we can do is think like them. And there's 2 parts to this. Now, the first part is strategy. A lot of people always pull driver when they get to par 4s. It might actually be that you need to start hitting more irons, hybrids, 3-woods off tees, because take this hole here, the 8th at Warrington, a hole where if I were to hit driver, I would have to hit it laser straight or else I am done for, because there's bunkers up at the top that start at 260 and go out to 280, and if I get in them, they're quite deep. It's going to be pretty hard to hit the green in 2 from there. There's also a bunker here at 230 to 245. So would I get my 3-wood over that, or would it be a case that I actually need to hit 4 iron short of it? And that's what we need to do. We need to have a little bit of strategy and planning on every shot. Don't just walk up to your shot and think, oh, well, it's the tee shot, it's a driver. Oh, it's the iron shot, I always hit 7 iron from here. A lot of common mistakes are using the same club off the tee and hitting it into hazards that are very much reachable with most likely your driver. And secondly, your par 3. If you're playing the same course all the time, a lot of people use the same clubs and don't even take conditions into account. And the second part to this, as we all know, I am a ray of sunshine, optimism, and pure temperament perfection when it comes to the golf course. Maybe not, that's why I've actually been working with Mind Caddy. You may have seen the video that we did with Carl Morris, and I think that is the other part of the strategy, is having a good mindset when we're out on the golf course. Not getting too down on yourself when you hit bad shots, and also not planning ahead. A lot of golfers, when they're starting out, or maybe are trying to accomplish breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 80, whatever it may be, and you get 4 or 5 holes in and it's going well, and then the cogs start turning. Well, if I par in, if I don't bogey that hole and I par this one, and you're already 4, 5, 6 holes ahead, planning what you're going to do instead of focusing on the shot at hand. So actually using something like that app, it's down in the description below if you want to check it out, or just watch the video that we did with Carl, will really help get your mind in check, because that, as I said, is the #1 area that we need to improve to start seeing scores drop radically. Go through that video, watch the other bits as well. Maybe one of the areas really resonates with you, but if you work in that order, you'll start to see your scores coming down quickly. Guys, hope you enjoyed it. Why not watch another video here where you can look at some common mistakes golfers are actually making out on the golf course.